The massive human warship Stellar Guardian emerged from hyperspace in a brilliant flash of emerald light, its gleaming titanium hull reflecting the glow of twin suns. Captain Raven Blackwood stood at the command center, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing an unknown civilization's homeworld. Sensor analysis complete, Captain. Lieutenant Ash Paddle reported from his station, fingers dancing across the quantum interface. We're detecting approximately 3,000 vessels in orbit around the third planet. They're retreating from our position. Raven nodded slowly, having witnessed this reaction before. The Stellar Guardian stretched nearly 4 kilometers in length, its advanced armor capable of withstanding direct hits from small asteroids. To an emerging spacefaring species, it must appear like a leviathan from ancient myths. "What's their tech level, Lieutenant?" she asked, maintaining her calm demeanor. "About 70 years behind us, Captain. Their ships use ionic propulsion, basic shield technology. Nothing that could pose a serious threat to our systems." Chief Engineer Darren Walsh's voice crackled through the ship's neural network. "Captain, these readings are fascinating. They're using crystalline matrices for power generation, completely different from our quantum core approach. Quite brilliant, actually." A small smile touched Raven's lips. Walsh always found something to admire in alien technology. Open communications on all frequencies, standard first contact protocols. The bridge crew initiated the carefully crafted greeting package. Mathematical sequences, scientific constants, and peaceful salutations in multiple formats. They had performed this procedure countless times, yet each first contact carried its own unique tension. The response came with unexpected swiftness. A hologram materialized in the bridge's central display, revealing a tall, graceful being with iridescent scales and multifaceted eyes. The universal translator began processing immediately. "Unknown vessel," the alien spoke, its harmonics betraying anxiety despite a diplomatic tone. "I am High Sentinel Nexus of the Navaran Defense Force. Your arrival in our system was unanticipated." Raven stepped forward, her posture deliberately relaxed. "High Sentinel, I am Captain Raven Blackwood of the Earth ship Stellar Guardian. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic contact and cultural exchange." The Navaran's crystalline eyes flickered rapidly. "We have heard whispers of humans. Tales speak of your enormous warships and formidable warriors. Why enter our space with such an imposing vessel?" "The size of our ship reflects the vast distances we travel, not hostile intent," Raven explained patiently. "We seek friendship and knowledge exchange." Lieutenant Patel's voice dropped to a whisper. "Captain, their orbital platforms are powering up weapon systems. Primitive, but potentially harmful to civilian vessels." Raven maintained her composed expression while her mind raced through options. Fear often led to tragic mistakes. She needed to defuse the situation quickly. "High Sentinel," she said carefully, "we notice your defense systems activating. To demonstrate our peaceful intentions, we will power down our forward shields." "Captain," Patel protested quietly, but Raven raised her hand slightly. The Navaran leader's expression shifted from fear to confusion. "You would make yourself vulnerable. Why?" "Because trust must begin somewhere," Raven replied. "Humanity believes in taking the first step toward peace." The bridge crew held their breath as the forward shields powered down. While the Navaran weapons couldn't seriously damage their hull, the gesture carried profound symbolic weight. High Sentinel Nexus remained silent for a long moment. Then, to everyone's relief, they gave a command in their native language. The orbital platforms powered down. "Perhaps," Nexus said thoughtfully, "the stories we heard about humans were incomplete. We knew of your military might, but not your wisdom in pursuing peace." Before Raven could respond, alarms blared across both ships. Lieutenant Patel's console erupted with warnings. "Captain, multiple ships just appeared at the system's edge. They're not Navaran vessels." His eyes widened at the readings. "They're charging weapons." The peaceful first contact was about to become significantly more complicated. Unknown vessels moved like predators toward the Stellar Guardian and the Navaran fleet, their intentions clearly hostile. As Raven watched the situation unfold, she knew that the next few moments would define humanity's relationship with the Navaran people. Sometimes, the true test of peace came in how you handled war. The unknown vessels struck without warning, their weapon signatures unlike anything in the Stellar Guardian's vast database. Trade Director Lyra Frost rushed onto the bridge, her silver-streaked hair disheveled from the sudden alert. "Captain Blackwood, those energy patterns match restricted files I've been investigating," she called out, quickly accessing her secure terminal. "They're using stolen technology, pieces from dozens of developing civilizations cobbled together." Captain Raven's eyes narrowed as she analyzed the tactical display. "High Sentinel Nexus, has your civilization experienced any unexplained technological theft recently?" The Navaran leader's hologram flickered with distress. 3 research stations vanished last cycle. We assumed they were lost to spatial anomalies. But now, shields at 92%, Captain. Lieutenant Pottle reported as another barrage struck their defenses. "The attacks are precisely targeted. They're trying to disable rather than destroy." Chief Engineer Walsh's voice crackled through the neural network. "Captain, these bastards are clever. They're using modified versions of the Navaran's crystalline matrix technology, but they've weaponized it. Highly unstable, though. They don't fully understand what they're playing with." The hostile ships moved with practiced coordination, attempting to separate the Stellar Guardian from the Navaran fleet. Their tactics suggested extensive combat experience, but their technology seemed randomly assembled, like scavengers using stolen tools they barely understood. "All ships, fall back to defensive formation Delta," Raven ordered. "Lieutenant Patel, extend our shield envelope to cover the Navaran vessels." "Director Frost, I need everything you have on these raiders." Lyra's fingers flew across her console as she accessed encrypted files. "They're part of something bigger, Captain. I've been tracking similar attacks across 3 sectors. Someone's been systematically stealing technology from developing species, but these raiders are just the visible part of the operation." High Sentinel Nexus's crystalline eyes pulsed with anger. "Our people trusted the Galactic Development Council to guide our growth. Could they be involved?" "The Council?" Raven questioned, remembering humanity's own cautious relationship with the ancient institution. "Specifically Council Member Theron," Lyra interjected. "His department oversees technological development in this sector. I found suspicious patterns in his documentation, but nothing concrete until now." Another volley of attacks rocked the ships. Engineer Walsh's excited voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, I figured out their weakness. They're stolen crystal matrices. They're not properly shielded. One focused pulse at the right frequency." "Do it," Raven commanded. She turned to the Navaran leader. "High Sentinel, we need to work together. This goes beyond just our peoples now." The Stellar Guardian's advanced sensors emitted a carefully calibrated energy pulse. The effect was immediate. The raiders' ships began to lose power, their weapons falling silent as their stolen technology turned against them. "Hostile vessels disabled, Captain," Paddle reported with satisfaction. "Their cores are in cascade failure. Should we assist?" "Begin rescue operations," Raven ordered. "Director Frost, secure their databases before they can purge them. We need proof." As rescue shuttles launched from the Stellar Guardian, Lyra's console suddenly lit up with urgent warnings. "Captain, we have a problem. I'm detecting massive data transmissions from the disabled ships. Someone's downloading their logs remotely. Can you trace it?" The signal's headed toward Council space. Lyra's face darkened. "Directly to Council Member Theron's private communications array." High Sentinel Nexus's hologram showed a complex mix of emotions. If the Council is truly involved in stealing from developing civilizations, then we've stumbled onto something much bigger than simple raiders, Raven finished. And they know we know. The following hours aboard the Stellar Guardian turned into a desperate race against time. Science Director Kidrax of the Navarans worked alongside Engineer Walsh, their combined expertise revealing the true scope of the technology theft. These modifications to our crystal matrices, Kedrax gestured at the holographic display, their bioluminescent markings pulsing with agitation. They're not just crude copies, they've been weaponized using techniques from at least 6 different civilizations. Walsh nodded grimly. Whoever did this has been planning for years. They're building some kind of shadow arsenal, piece by piece, species by species. On the bridge, Captain Raven and Trade Director Lyra reviewed the data recovered from the disabled raider ships. The evidence was damning. Detailed records of technological theft, carefully orchestrated accidents to cover their tracks, and regular communications with Council Member Theron's office. The Council's going to respond soon, Lyra warned, studying the tactical projections. Theron won't let this evidence reach the public. He'll try to discredit us, paint humans as the aggressors. High Sentinel Nexus hologram joined the discussion. Our long-range sensors detect a Council battle group approaching. They're broadcasting emergency protocols, claiming to be responding to human aggression in our system. Raven's expression hardened. How long? 3 hours at most, Lieutenant Pottle reported. 15 vessels, all heavily armed. They'll try to seize the evidence and probably arrest us for interfering with Council operations, Lyra added. It's happened before to others who got too close to their secrets. Science Director Kedrax suddenly burst onto the bridge, their crystalline scales flickering with excitement. Captain Blackwood, we found something in the Raiders' engineering systems. The crystal matrices. They all carry quantum signatures, like fingerprints. We can prove they came from our research stations. And not just yours, Walsh's voice added over the comm. We're finding signatures from dozens of species. This could expose the entire operation. Raven turned to Lyra. How high does this go? Is it just Theron? The trade director shook her head. The operation's too big for one council member. My investigation suggests at least 3 others are involved, maybe more. They've been systematically looting developing civilizations, selling advanced weapons to both sides of conflicts they themselves engineer. Captain, Pottle interrupted, we're receiving transmissions from other ships in the sector. The Navarans sent out a warning about the raiders. 3 other species are reporting similar technology theft. They're asking for help. High Sentinel Nexus straightened. The Council has betrayed their mandate to guide and protect. We must stand together. Agreed, Raven said, but we need to survive the next 3 hours first. The Council battle group will try to overwhelm us with superior numbers. Maybe not, Walsh chimed in. Those Council ships want to bet they're using the same stolen tech as the raiders. And now we know exactly how to disable it. A plan began to form in Raven's mind. Science Director Kedrax, how quickly can you and Engineer Walsh modify our pulse weapon to affect multiple ships at once? The Navaran scientists' markings pulsed with determination. With both our teams working together, 2 hours, maybe less. Do it, Raven ordered. Lieutenant Patel, send encrypted communications to those other species. Tell them to document everything about their stolen technology. We need overwhelming evidence. What about the Council ships? Lyra asked. They'll be ready for a direct confrontation. Then we don't give them one. Raven smiled slightly. We give them a choice. Stand down and help us expose the corruption, or have their stolen technology fail in front of everyone. As the hours ticked down, humans and Navarans worked side by side, racing to prepare for the coming confrontation. But in the depths of Council space, darker forces were already moving to protect their secrets, and the true scale of the conspiracy was about to be revealed. The Council battle group emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, 15 warships arranged in an attack pattern that had subjugated countless civilizations. Captain Raven Blackwood stood calmly on the Stellar Guardian's bridge, watching as the massive vessels approached. They're hailing us, Lieutenant Pottle reported. Admiral Voss of the Council Defense Force. A stern-faced alien appeared on the main screen, their ceremonial armor gleaming. Captain Blackwood, you are charged with interference in council matters and aggression against member species. Surrender immediately. Admiral, Raven replied evenly. We have evidence of widespread corruption within the council. Several of your members have been stealing technology from developing civilizations, weaponizing it, and profiting from engineered conflicts. More human lies, Voss snapped. You have 10 minutes to power down your systems, or we will take your ship by force. Trade Director Lyra stepped forward. Admiral, check your ship's crystal matrix signatures. Compare them to the Navaran research stations that supposedly been lost to accidents. The proof is in your own engines. High Sentinel Nexus hologram joined them. We trusted the Council to guide us. Instead, Council member Theron and his conspirators stole from us, used our own technology against us. Accusations without proof, Voss dismissed, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in their eyes. 9 minutes to intercept, Patel warned quietly. Engineer Walsh's voice came through the neural network. Crystal pulse weapon ready, Captain. Kidrax's modifications are brilliant. It'll affect their entire fleet simultaneously. Science Director Kidrax's markings pulsed with pride. The weapon will not harm their crews, but it will expose the truth. Every stolen crystal matrix will reveal its origin. 8 minutes, Patel counted down. Raven made her decision. Admiral Voss, receive this data transmission. Engineering logs from the raiders we defeated, financial records of technology sales, quantum signatures of stolen crystal matrices. Examine it yourself. The bridge crew watched as Voss read through the files, their expression changing from dismissal to shock. These signatures, these communications. Theron, what have you done? It goes beyond Theron, Lyra added. Council members Dexar, Yan, and Mira are all implicated. They've been orchestrating conflicts across 3 sectors, profiting from both sides. 5 minutes to weapon range, Patel reported. Voss looked up from the evidence, their military bearings shaken. Even if this is true, I have orders. You have a choice, Raven countered. Help us expose this corruption, or we'll disable your fleet with their own stolen technology. Either way, the truth comes out today. 3 minutes. The tension on the bridge was palpable as Voss struggled with their decision. Finally, they straightened. Stand down all weapons. Begin matrix signature verification. A collective breath of relief swept through both fleets. As the Council ships powered down their weapons, new transmissions began pouring in from across the sector. Other species, emboldened by the Navaran stand, came forward with their own evidence of technology theft and Council manipulation. Arrest warrants are being issued for the implicated Council members, Lyra reported, monitoring the diplomatic channels. The full Council is convening an emergency session. High Sentinel Nexus turned to Raven. You could have destroyed our ships when we first met. Instead, you chose trust. You could have fought the Council fleet, but you chose truth. Humanity learned long ago that real strength isn't about superior weapons, Raven replied. It's about when you choose not to use them. In the days that followed, the scandal rocked the galactic community. The corrupt Council members were arrested, their criminal network exposed. But something more important emerged from the crisis, a new understanding between species. The Stellar Guardian's first contact with the Navarans, intended as a simple diplomatic mission, had triggered a chain of events that would reshape galactic society. Humans, Navarans, and other developing species gained seats on a reformed council, their voices finally heard as equals. As Captain Raven Blackwood prepared to depart the Navaran system, she reflected on how fear had turned to trust, and trust to alliance. The Stellar Guardian had come armed with humanity's most powerful weapons, patience, wisdom, and the courage to take the first step toward peace. Science Director Kidrax and Engineer Walsh had already begun collaborating on new projects, combining human and Navaran technology in ways that would benefit all species. Trade Director Lyra worked with Admiral Voss to establish new protocols protecting developing civilizations from exploitation. Course set for Earth, Captain, Lieutenant Puttle reported. The Navaran escort is ready to accompany us to the border. Thank you, Lieutenant. Raven smiled as she looked at the mixed fleet of ships surrounding them, no longer divided by fear or manipulation, but united in purpose. Take us home. The Stellar Guardian's engines hummed to life, its massive form turning gracefully toward Earth. Behind them, the twin suns of the Navaran system painted the ships in golden light, a new dawn for galactic civilization, born not from the power of weapons, but from the strength of understanding.